Hello, my lovely eyelashes. Grab a seat. This one's going to be good. I pulled 10 cards for a career reading, and honestly, the deck was very chatty today. I kept shuffling, and more cards wanted to join the conversation, so we're going deep. Let's see what work wants you to know right now. You know when you walk into a meeting and everyone's talking over each other? That's the Five of Wands energy we're starting with. I'm seeing all these wands crossing paths, and it's not necessarily hostile. It's more like creative chaos. Everyone has an idea, everyone wants to be heard. Here's what's interesting though, I keep getting the word the sparks really strongly. Not the romantic kind, but the kind that fly when metal hits metal. And speaking of metal, I'm seeing copper specifically. That warm, conductive energy. Someone watching this works with their hands. Or there's something about craftsmanship coming up for you. This card is telling me that the competition you're facing right now, it's actually sharpening you. See, most people look at conflict in their career and think it's a roadblock. But this Five of Wands energy is saying no. This is your training ground. Every difficult conversation, every time you have to defend your ideas, every moment where you're fighting for your vision to be seen, you're getting stronger. I'm also picking up something about the number 17. Could be a date, could be an address, could be years of experience. But if 17 means something to you in your work life, this card is nodding at that. The thing about this card is it's not promising you smooth sailing ahead. It's promising you something better. It's promising you'll be ready for whatever comes. The friction you're experiencing isn't punishment. It's preparation. And honestly, some of you needed to hear that today. Well, look who just walked into the room. The Ace of Pentacles. And after all that sparring we just saw, this feels like someone finally saying, "Here, let me show you what we're actually fighting for." This is the golden opportunity card, and I mean that literally. I'm seeing actual gold here. Not just a coin in the hand, but something about gold threading through someone's work life. Could be jewelry, could be finance, could be that you're finally about to touch something valuable that's been just out of reach. But here's what's making me pause. Remember those sparks we talked about with the Five of Wands? All that creative friction? This ace is saying that conflict wasn't random. It was forging something, like a blacksmith heating metal until it's ready to be shaped into something useful. I keep getting a really strong message about foundations right now. Someone out there has been building something from scratch. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a new skill set, maybe it's a completely different career path. And you've been wondering if all this starting over was worth it. This card is your answer. Yes, absolutely yes. There's something about seeds here too. I'm seeing someone literally planting something. Could be a garden, but I think it's metaphorical. You've been planting seeds in conversations, in connections, in small daily actions that felt insignificant. This ace is saying those seeds are about to sprout, and some of you are going to be surprised by how quickly things start moving. The copper energy from before? It's connecting to this golden opportunity. Copper conducts electricity. Gold holds value. You've been the conductor. Now you're about to become the treasure. And I have to say this because it's coming through so clearly. If you've been waiting for permission to start something, to invest in yourself, to take that financial risk you've been calculating for months, this is your green light. Not next month, not when conditions are perfect. The Ace of Pentacles doesn't wait for perfect timing. It creates it. Now this is where things get interesting. The Queen of Wands just stepped in, and she's not asking permission for anything. See that sunflower she's holding? That's not a decoration. That's a declaration. She knows exactly where the light is, and she's not afraid to turn toward it. After all that friction from the Five of Wands and that golden opportunity we just saw, the Queen is here to say, all right, enough preparation. Time to lead. And I'm getting such a strong feeling that some of you have been holding back your natural leadership abilities because you thought you needed more credentials, more experience, more something. This Queen is laughing at that. She is saying your confidence itself is the credential. I keep seeing the color amber, that warm honeygold energy. It's connecting back to our gold thread from the Ace. But amber is different. Amber preserves the things, holds them in time. Someone watching this has been preserving an idea, a vision, maybe even a business plan, waiting for the right moment. The Queen of Wands is tapping her foot, saying the right moment is now. And those sparks from our first card, they weren't just random friction. They were your creative fire being tested. The Queen sits on her throne because she learned to channel that fiery energy instead of being burned by it. She took all that creative chaos and said, watch me turn this into something magnificent. I'm picking up something about the number 3 really strongly here. And it's not just because this is our third card. 3 projects, 3 opportunities, 3 people who are about to see you differently. There's a trinity of energy building around your professional life. But here's what I love about this Queen. She's got that black cat by her side. Intuition made manifest. All that copper conductivity we talked about, you've been receiving signals, hunches, gut feelings about your career direction. The Queen of Wands is saying stop second guessing those instincts. Your intuition about where to go next isn't just a feeling, it's intelligence. Someone out there has been thinking they need to tone themselves down to fit into their current work environment. The Queen is shaking her head. Your brightness, your enthusiasm, your natural magnetism, that's not something to dim. That's your superpower. The foundation you've been building with that Ace of Pentacles, it's strong enough to support the full force of who you actually are. Stop playing small. The sunflower doesn't apologize for reaching toward the sun. Collaboration. The Three of Pentacles is showing me people working together, and after that Queen of Wands energy we just felt, all that individual fire and leadership. This card is saying yes, and now you're going to need a team. I'm seeing something fascinating here. Those sparks from the Five of Wands, that golden opportunity from the Ace, the Queen's confident leadership. It's all been building toward this moment where you realize you can't do it alone. And that's not a weakness, that's wisdom. The figure in this card is consulting with others, and I keep getting the word blueprint really strongly. Someone watching this is about to be involved in planning something significant. Could be literal blueprints, architecture, construction, design work. But I'm also seeing this as the blueprint for your professional future, and you're finally ready to bring in the right people to help you build it. I'm picking up the scent of sawdust, which feels connected to that craftsmanship energy we've been tracking. Someone here works with wood, or there's something about building, creating with your hands that's about to become central to your path. The Three of Pentacles love skilled work, respected work, work where you can point to something at the end of the day and say, I made that. But here's what's really striking me. Remember that copper conductivity we talked about? And the amber preservation energy from the Queen? This Three of Pentacles is showing me silver. Silver conducts even better than copper, and it reflects light. You're not just receiving good ideas anymore. You're about to become the mirror that helps others see their own brilliance. Your role is shifting from student to teacher, from follower to collaborator. I keep seeing the number 8 sideways, infinity. The connections you're about to make aren't just for this project or this job. These are relationships that will loop back around throughout your career in ways you can't imagine right now. The person you help today becomes the person who opens a door for you next year. There's something about stone here too, marble specifically, permanent, valuable, something that lasts. All that groundwork you've been laying, all those seeds from the ace, all that leadership fire from the queen, it's about to be carved into something lasting. Your reputation is being sculpted right now through every collaboration, every project you touch with excellence. And I have to say this because it's coming through so clearly. Some of you have been hesitant to ask for help, to admit you need other people's expertise. Maybe you thought it made you look weak after claiming your Queen of Wands power. This Three of Pentacles is laughing at that. The strongest leaders know exactly when to say, I need your brain on this, or your skills are better than mine here. That Trinity energy we felt with the Queen, it's manifesting as actual collaboration now. 3 minds, 3 skill sets, 3 perspectives are creating something none of you could have built alone. The year ahead isn't about solo success, it's about becoming the kind of person others want to build with. Your professional legacy is being written in collaboration, not isolation. There's something so tender about this Six of Cups, and honestly, it's catching me off guard after all that forward momentum we've been building. Here's this figure offering a cup full of flowers to a smaller figure, and I'm immediately getting childhood, nostalgia, but also gifts. Like someone's about to receive something they didn't expect. I keep hearing the word mentor really loudly right now. After all that collaboration energy from the Three of Pentacles, this Six is showing me someone who's going to come into your professional life, who feels familiar, even if you've never met them before. There's something about this connection that feels like coming home. And for some of you, this literally is someone from your past. Maybe a former teacher, maybe someone you worked with years ago who's about to resurface with an opportunity. But here's what's fascinating me. Remember all those metals we've been tracking? The copper sparks, the gold opportunities, the silver connections. This Six of Cups is showing me something completely different. I'm seeing pearls. Not flashy, not aggressive, but formed slowly over time through patience and pressure. Someone out there has been cultivating wisdom in a way that doesn't look impressive on a resume, but it's about to become your most valuable asset. I'm getting really strong energy around the number 6 itself, but doubled 66. Could be an age, could be a year, could be an address. But this number is connected to someone who's going to offer you something that feels too good to be true. Trust it anyway. The flowers in that cup, I'm seeing white roses specifically. Pure intention, new beginnings. But also apology. Someone in your professional sphere owes you recognition, or an opportunity, or even just an acknowledgement of your worth. This Six of Cups energy suggests that debt is about to be paid, but it's going to come wrapped in kindness rather than obligation. There's something about teaching here that's connecting back to our craftsman energy, our sawdust and marble. But this isn't you learning from others anymore. This is you discovering you have something precious to pass on. Your experience, even the messy parts, especially the messy parts, has created something valuable in you. The Six of Cups is saying someone younger, someone newer to your field, is about to see that value and ask you to share it. I keep smelling vanilla. Warm, comforting, but also expensive. Pure vanilla, not the artificial stuff. Your knowledge has been aging like fine vanilla beans, and it's about to add richness to everything you touch professionally. But here's the thing about this card that's making me pause. It can sometimes represent looking backward when you should be moving forward. With all that Queen of Wands fire we channeled, all that collaborative building energy, there might be a temptation to retreat into what felt safe before. The Six of Cups is gentle, but it's also warning you not to let nostalgia become a hiding place. That infinity energy we felt, those lasting connections being forged, this six is showing me how your past and future are about to loop together in the most beautiful way. Someone from your history is going to help build your tomorrow, or someone new is going to feel like they've been in your life forever. The gift exchange happening in this card, it's not just symbolic. Literal gifts, literal offerings are coming into your work life. But more importantly, you're about to realize that your presence itself, your warmth, your wisdom, your willingness to help others grow, that's a gift that the professional world has been waiting for. Stop underestimating how much people value your gentle strength. I'm getting chills looking at the High Priestess right now because she's sitting between two pillars like a gatekeeper. And everything we've been building, all that fire, all that collaboration, all those precious gifts, it's been leading to this threshold moment. She's got this scroll in her lap, partially hidden, and I keep getting the word secrets, but not the kind that harm. These are the secrets of your industry. The unwritten rules, the knowledge that doesn't get taught in school or training programs. Someone watching this is about to gain access to information that changes everything about how you understand your professional landscape. I'm seeing moonlight right now, silver moonlight, which is connecting back to that silver reflection energy we felt with the Three of Pentacles. But where that was about reflecting others' brilliance, this High Priestess energy is about trusting your own inner knowing. You've been absorbing so much. Those copper sparks of creative friction, that golden opportunity, all that collaborative wisdom, those tender gifts from mentors. Now, it's time to go quiet and let your intuition sort through it all. There's something about keys here, actual keys. I keep seeing an old-fashioned key, brass or bronze, and it's connected to that number 66 we channeled earlier. Someone who offered you something that seemed too good to be true. They're about to hand you the key to understanding why that opportunity is actually perfect for you. The High Priestess holds keys to hidden chambers, and your career has some locked doors that are about to open. I'm picking up the sound of water trickling, like a small fountain, and it's making me think about that patient pearl energy we felt. The High Priestess rules the subconscious, the realm where pearls of wisdom form slowly, grain by grain. All that sawdust and craftsmanship, all that marble permanence. It's been building toward this moment where you realize your greatest professional asset isn't what you can do with your hands. It's what you know in your bones. But here's what's fascinating me about her placement in this reading. Remember how the Queen of Wands was all about stepping into your leadership, not dimming your light. The High Priestess is saying there's another kind of power, the power of knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to act and when to wait. Your intuition about the timing is about to become your secret weapon. I keep saying the color indigo, deep indigo like midnight sky, and it's such a contrast to all the warm golds and ambers we've been tracking. This is the color of deep knowing, of mysteries revealed not through study but through trust. Someone out there has been trying to logic their way through a career decision, making pros and cons lists, researching until their eyes hurt. The High Priestess is gently closing that laptop and saying the answer isn't in the data. It's in the feeling you get when you imagine yourself 5 years from now. There's something about libraries here, old libraries with leather-bound books. The knowledge you need isn't online, it's archived. Could be literal research for your field, but I'm also seeing this as ancestral knowledge, wisdom that's been passed down. That vanilla wisdom we talked about, that's been aging in you. It's connected to something larger, older, deeper than your individual experience. And I have to mention this because it's coming through so strongly. Some of you have been dismissed or underestimated because you work intuitively rather than analytically. Maybe you get labeled as too emotional or not data driven enough. The High Priestess is sitting here laughing at that. Your ability to sense what's coming, to read between the lines, to know which collaborations will flourish and which will drain. That's not weakness, that's prophecy. The scroll in her lap is partially revealed, partially hidden. Your career path for the year ahead isn't going to unfold all at once. It's going to reveal itself piece by piece, and you're going to need to trust the process even when you can't see the full picture. That infinity energy, those lasting connections, they're being guided by something deeper than networking strategy. The High Priestess sits between conscious and unconscious, between known and unknown. She's the Fool steps off the cliff, and honestly, after sitting in all that High Priestess mystery and intuition, this feels like the universe just said, enough overthinking, jump. Look at this figure. They've got a little bundle over their shoulder, a white rose in their hand, and they're about to walk straight into thin air with the biggest smile on their face. That white rose is connecting me right back to the Six of Cups energy, those are pure intentions. But where that card was about receiving gifts from the past, the Fool is saying, now take everything you've been given and leap into something completely new. I keep getting the word beginner really strongly, but not in a diminishing way, in the most powerful way possible. All that expertise you've been building, the craftsmanship, the collaborations, the deep intuitive knowing from the High Priestess. The Fool is saying you're about to use all of that to become a beginner again. And that's not a step backward, that's a quantum leap forward. There's something about air here, thin mountain air, and I'm getting altitude. Someone watching this is about to make a career move that literally takes them higher. Could be a promotion, could be relocating to a different elevation. But I'm also seeing this as perspective shift. You're about to see your entire professional landscape from a completely different vantage point. That brass key energy from the High Priestess. The Fool is saying you don't need to wait to figure out which door it opens. Sometimes the key is courage itself, and the doors appear when you're brave enough to walk toward them. I'm seeing someone literally walking away from security. Could be a steady job, could be a predictable income, could be other people's expectations of what your career should look like. The number 0 keeps coming up, which is the Fool's number, but it's not emptiness, it's infinite potential. All those numbers we've been tracking, 17 from the 5 of Wands, 3 from the Queen, 66 from the 6 of Cups. They've all been building toward this 0 point where everything becomes possible again. You're about to reset your professional story, but you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from wisdom. I'm picking up the scent of pine trees, fresh pine, like morning mountain air. It's so different from that warm vanilla wisdom we've been carrying, but they're connecting. The vanilla has been your comfort zone, your accumulated knowledge. The pine is where you're going. Sharp, clarifying, awakening. Someone out there has been feeling suffocated by their expertise, trapped by how good they've gotten at something that no longer lights them up. The Fool is your permission slip to get terrible at something new. That little white dog at the Fool's feet, I keep seeing it as loyalty to your authentic self. While everyone else has been trying to talk you out of this leap you're considering, your inner knowing has been faithfully following you toward this edge. That High Priestess intuition you just learned to trust, it led you here, to this moment of pure faith. But here's what's making me emotional about this card in this position. Remember all that collaboration energy, those lasting connections, that mentor figure who saw your value. The Fool doesn't mean you're leaving all that behind. It means you're finally ready to trust that the relationships and wisdom you've cultivated are strong enough to survive your transformation. The people who truly value you will celebrate your courage to reinvent yourself. I'm seeing butterflies, which feels connected to that transformation energy, but also to lightness. You've been carrying so much responsibility, so much expertise, so many other people's expectations. The Fool's bundle is tiny because you don't need to carry everything into your new chapter. That indigo midnight wisdom from the High Priestess. It's not baggage to lug around, it's integrated into who you are now. There's something about April here, early spring energy, and it's connecting to those seeds we planted way back with the Ace of Pentacles. What you've been cultivating in secret, what you've been dreaming about during those quiet High Priestess moments. It's sprouting season. But the sprouts require breaking through soil, breaking through the surface of what was to reach toward what could be. The cliff edge isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of the chapter where you finally trust your wings. All that copper conductivity, all that golden opportunity, all that silver reflection, all those pearls of wisdom. They've been preparing you for this moment when you realize your greatest career asset isn't what you know. It's your willingness to not know, to be surprised, to let yourself be led by wonder instead of strategy. The Fool is saying your next professional adventure starts with one word. Yes. Even if you can't see the ground beneath your feet. Speed. The Knight of Swords is pure velocity, and he's charging into this reading like he's been held back for too long. After the Fool's leap of faith, this knight isn't asking whether you should jump. He's asking how fast you can hit the ground running. I'm immediately getting wind, strong wind that whips through your hair and makes your eyes water. There's something about momentum building in your professional life that's been gathering force behind the scenes, and it's about to break through like a dam bursting. Someone out there has been in planning mode, in preparation mode, maybe even in that High Priestess contemplation mode for months. The Knight of Swords is saying that phase is over. Now we move. But here's what's striking me about the Knight appearing after the Fool. Where the Fool steps into the unknown with faith, this Knight charges into it with strategy. Remember all that wisdom you've been accumulating? The craftsmanship skill, the collaborative relationships, those pearls of intuition from the High Priestess. The Knight isn't abandoning any of that. He's weaponizing it, in the best possible way. I keep seeing the color still blue, sharp and cutting, and it's connecting back to all those metals we've been tracking. The copper sparks, the gold opportunities, the silver reflections. But steel is different. Steel is forged through fire and pressure and intentional shaping. Your career decisions this year aren't going to be gentle or gradual. They're going to be decisive, precise, maybe even a little shocking to people who've been watching you move slowly and carefully. There's something about messages here, urgent messages. I'm seeing someone literally running with a scroll, and it's making me think of that partially hidden scroll from the High Priestess. What was mysterious before is about to become crystal clear, but it's going to require fast action. Information is coming your way. Could be a job offer, could be inside knowledge about your industry, could be someone finally giving you the real story about what's been happening behind closed doors. When this information arrives, you're going to have a narrow window to act on it. I'm picking up the sound of keyboards clicking really fast, urgent typing, and there's something about deadlines here. That full energy of infinite possibility is about to get very specific parameters. But instead of feeling limiting, these time constraints are going to energize you. Some of you work better under pressure, and the Knight of Swords is saying you're about to prove that to yourself and everyone else. The number 11 keeps flashing at me. November, or the 11th of a month, or 11 days, 11 weeks. There's a timeline connected to this night energy that's shorter than you think. That leap the Fool encouraged you to take, the landing is coming up fast, and you need to be ready to hit the ground in full sprint. But here's what I love about this night in this position. Remember that mentor energy from the Six of Cups, those gifts from the past, that vanilla wisdom that's been aging in you. The Knight of Swords is showing me how all of that becomes rocket fuel. Your accumulated experience isn't slowing you down, it's what makes you confident enough to move this fast. You know your worth now, you know your capabilities. So when the opportunity comes that requires immediate decision making, you're not going to hesitate. I keep seeing arrows, multiple arrows fired in rapid succession, and they're all hitting their targets. This isn't reckless charging, this is precision at high speed. All those collaborations from the Three of Pentacles, all those lasting connections we talked about. They've created a network that can move as fast as you do. When you're ready to make your move, the support structure is already in place. There's something about cutting through bureaucracy here, cutting through red tape. That brass key from the High Priestess opened a door, but the Knight of Swords is showing me someone who doesn't wait for doors to open. Sometimes you create your own entrance. I'm seeing someone literally bypassing traditional application processes, traditional career ladders, traditional timelines. The rules that apply to other people don't apply to someone moving with this kind of focused intensity. But I need to say this because the night energy can be overwhelming. All this speed, all this decisive action, it needs to be balanced with that deep, intuitive knowing you've been cultivating. The High Priestess taught you to trust your inner wisdom. The Knight of Swords is saying now, you get to trust it at full speed. Your gut instincts are going to have to work in real time, and they're up for the challenge. That the pine tree clarity we felt with the Fool, it's becoming razor-sharp focus now. You're about to cut through months of uncertainty with a few swift, strategic moves. The beginner's mind. The Fool gave you is perfect for this night energy. You're going to approach obstacles with fresh solutions that more experienced people wouldn't think to try. The wind I mentioned at the beginning, it's not just rushing past you, you're creating it. Your movement through your professional landscape is about to create a wake that others notice, others follow, others want to be part of. The Knight of Swords doesn't just change his own trajectory, he changes the atmosphere around him. Speed with purpose, that's your career theme for the immediate future. The universe has been loading the catapult, and you're about to discover just how far your accumulated wisdom can launch you when it moves at the speed of absolute certainty. Something's shifting here. The Page of Cups had just appeared, and after all that Knight of Swords velocity and decisive action, this feels like the universe saying, now, before you charge any further, let's talk about what you're actually feeling. This page is holding up a cup, and there's a little fish popping out of it, which should be impossible, but here we are. That's the thing about pages, they make the impossible feel natural. And I keep getting the word message really strongly, but not the urgent scroll-carrying message from that night energy. This is a different kind of message, one that comes through emotions, through dreams, through those quiet moments when you're not trying to figure anything out. I'm seeing the color aquamarine, that soft blue-green that's deeper than turquoise but lighter than sapphire. It's connecting back to that steel blue sharpness from the Knight of Swords. But where that was cutting and decisive, this aquamarine is fluid, healing. Someone out there has been so focused on making the right career moves, on moving at the right speed, that you've forgotten to check in with how all this change is actually landing in your heart. That fish jumping out of the cup? I keep seeing it as a surprise message from your subconscious. All that High Priestess intuition you've been developing, all that deep knowing. It's been swimming around in your emotional depths, and now something important is ready to surface. Could be a creative idea that solves a practical problem. Could be realizing that what you thought you wanted professionally isn't actually what would make you happy. Could be understanding that your sensitivity, your emotional intelligence, is actually your greatest professional asset in a world that's been telling you to toughen up. I'm picking up the number 49, 7 times 7, completion of a cycle, but also the beginning of wisdom. That vanilla knowledge that's been aging in you, those pearls of wisdom forming slowly over time. They're reaching maturity. But maturity for the Page of Cups isn't about having all the answers. It's about being brave enough to feel your way toward the questions that actually matter. There's something about water here that's different from any other water energy we've felt in this reading. This isn't the trickling fountain from the High Priestess, or the rushing wind from the Knight of Swords. This is like standing at the edge of a lake at dawn, when the surface is so still it reflects the sky perfectly. You're about to gain the kind of clarity that comes not from analysis, but from emotional stillness. Remember that mentor figure from the Six of Cups, that person who was going to offer you something that seemed too good to be true? The Page of Cups is showing me that your response to that offer needs to come from your heart, not just your strategic mind. All that night energy, all that speed and precision, it's perfect for executing your decisions. But this page is saying make sure those decisions align with what actually brings you joy, not just what looks good on paper. I keep hearing laughter, genuine laughter, and it's such a contrast to all the serious career building energy we've been tracking. The Page of Cups is reminding you that your work life is supposed to feed your soul, not just your bank account. That copper conductivity we felt at the very beginning, those creative sparks flying, they were trying to tell you something about following your genuine enthusiasm, and all the subsequent cards have been building the skills and confidence you need to actually do that. There's something about art here, visual art specifically. I'm seeing watercolors bleeding into each other, creating colors that don't have names. Someone watching this has an artistic side that's been dormant during all this professional development, all this strategic career building. The Page of Cups is saying that creative part of you isn't separate from your career path. It's integral to it. Your ability to see beauty, to imagine possibilities, to feel your way through problems instead of just thinking through them, that's about to become professionally valuable in ways you haven't anticipated. But here's what's making me pause about this page appearing now. Remember the Fool's leap of faith, the Knight's decisive action? There might be a temptation to romanticize what comes next, to get so caught up in the emotional possibility that you forget the practical wisdom you've accumulated. The Page of Cups holds that fish gently but securely. Your dreams need structure to survive in the real world. I'm seeing the number 28 doubling to 56. Cycles within cycles, like the moon phases. Your career isn't going to unfold in a straight line this year. It's going to have rhythms, seasons, times for action, and times for reception. The page energy is teaching you to work with these natural cycles instead of fighting them. Sometimes, the most productive thing you can do is stop producing and start feeling. That infinity energy we've been tracking, those lasting connections, that collaborative network you've built. The Page of Cups is showing me how all of that gets deeper when you bring your authentic emotional self to your professional relationships. People connect with people, not resumes. Your willingness to be genuinely enthusiastic about your work, to let people see what lights you up, to share your dreams, even when they're still forming. That's what transforms professional contacts into true collaborators. There's something about letters here, handwritten letters, and it's connecting back to those urgent messages from the night. But where those were about speed and timing, these letters are about connection and care. Someone is going to reach out to you in a way that feels personal, intimate, real. This isn't networking. This is someone seeing your soul and wanting to help it flourish professionally. The Page of Cups sits between the mystical water of emotions and the practical earth of career building. You're learning that your feelings aren't obstacles to your professional success. They're the compass that points you toward a work that will sustain and fulfill you for decades to come. That beginner's mind from the Fool? It's about to fall in love with possibilities that you never even considered before. Trust what makes you come alive. The page promises that when you do, the fish will keep jumping out of the cup, bringing you messages of opportunity you couldn't have strategized your way toward. The Seven of Swords is here, and I have to be honest, this card makes me a little nervous after everything we've just built together. Here's this figure sneaking away from a camp with an armload of swords, and my first instinct is to think theft or deception. But then I look at their face, and there's something almost relieved there, like they're finally taking back what was always theirs. After that beautiful Page of Cups message about following your heart, about letting your authentic emotional self guide your professional choices, the Seven of Swords is whispering something much more complex. It's saying sometimes getting what you deserve requires a strategy that doesn't look noble from the outside. I keep getting the word reclaiming really strongly. Remember all that wisdom we've been tracking, the vanilla knowledge that's been aging in you, those pearls formed through patience and pressure, that aquamarine emotional intelligence. Someone has been undervaluing these assets, maybe even you. The Seven of Swords is about taking back your power, but it requires being strategic about how and when you do it. There's something about timing here that connects back to that number 11 we felt with the Knight of Swords, but now I'm seeing it as 1111. Make a wish time, but also portal energy. You're about to step through a doorway in your career, but it's not going to be the front entrance. Sometimes the most important professional moves happen through the side door, through connections that look informal but turn out to be everything. I'm seeing the color charcoal gray, smoky, and sophisticated, and it's such a departure from all the bright golds and aquamarines as we've been channeling. This is the color of working behind the scenes, of strategies that unfold quietly before they become visible. That brass key from the High Priestess, that velocity from the Knight of Swords, that emotional clarity from the Page of Cups. They've all been preparing you for this moment where you realize your next career move needs to happen with discretion. But here's what's fascinating me about this 7 appearing as our final card. Remember how the Fool stepped off the cliff with such innocent faith? The 7 of Swords is showing me the landing. You've gathered intelligence, you've built relationships, you've developed skills, and now you're ready to make a move that others might not understand until after it's already succeeded. I keep hearing the phrase intellectual property, and it's connecting to all that craftsmanship energy we've been building. Someone out there has ideas, innovations, creative solutions that belong to them, but they've been sharing them freely in environments where others are taking credit. The 7 of Swords isn't encouraging anything unethical. It's encouraging you to protect what's yours and to be strategic about where you plant your best ideas going forward. There's something about contracts here, fine print, and it's linking back to that steel blue precision from the Knight of Swords. All that speed and decisiveness is about to serve you well, because you're going to need to read between the lines quickly and act on opportunities before they disappear. That number 49 we felt with the Page of Cups, 7 times 7, it's showing up again. This is completion of a learning cycle, but also the beginning of applying that wisdom in ways that actually benefit you. I'm picking up the scent of leather again, but different from those library books we felt with the High Priestess. This is like a leather portfolio, something professional and polished. You're about to present yourself or your work in a way that commands respect. But the presentation strategy is going to be unconventional. Maybe you bypass traditional channels. Maybe you approach decision makers directly. Maybe you create your own platform instead of waiting to be chosen for someone else's. Remember that infinity energy we've been tracking? Those lasting connections that loop back around throughout your career? The Seven of Swords is showing me how some of those connections are about to pay dividends in unexpected ways. Someone you helped during your collaborative Three of Pentacles phase? Someone who witnessed your Queen of Wands leadership? Someone who received those tender gifts you offered during your Six of Cups season? They're about to help you in ways that circumvent normal procedures. But I need to address the elephant in the room with this card. There's always a risk that strategic thinking crosses into manipulative thinking. That Page of Cups emotional authenticity you just claimed, don't sacrifice that for tactical advantage. The Seven of Swords works best when your strategy serves not just your advancement, but the advancement of work that matters, ideas that deserve to exist, innovations that will benefit more than just yourself. I keep seeing the number 17 again, the same number that came through with our very first card, the Five of Wands. This isn't coincidence. Everything you've learned through all that creative friction, all that sparring and competing and proving yourself, it's about to pay off in a way that requires you to be both wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. 17 months from now, you're going to look back at this period and realize the Seven of Swords moment was when your real career actually began. There's something about dawn here, very early morning when most people are still asleep. Your biggest professional moves this year might happen when others aren't watching, aren't competing, aren't even aware that opportunities exist. That High Priestess midnight wisdom, it's becoming dawn strategy. What you learned in the darkness of not knowing is about to illuminate path that daylight logic couldn't reveal. The figure in this card carries multiple swords because they understand something crucial. You can't just take one opportunity. You have to take the whole cluster of possibilities while the moment is right. That collaborative network you build, those mentor relationships, those creative insights, that emotional clarity, they're all part of one strategic package that you're about to deploy simultaneously. This Seven of Swords is your final card because it represents the integration of everything we've channeled together. The sparks, the gold, the collaboration, the gifts, the intuition, the leap of faith, the decisive action, the emotional authenticity. All of it crystallizes into a strategy that looks simple from the outside, but required every single element to work. You're not stealing anything. You're finally taking what the year ahead has been preparing for you all along. The only question left is whether you're brave enough to carry it all at once. The swords are yours. Pick them up and walk toward your dawn. All right, eyelashes, that was quite a journey we just took together. From those initial sparks flying in creative chaos to walking away with your arms full of the opportunities you've been building toward. This year is asking you to trust every part of yourself. The strategic mind, the intuitive heart, the collaborative spirit, and yes, even the part of you that knows when to move quietly and decisively. What strikes me most about this reading is how everything's been preparing you to become someone who can hold multiple truths at once. You can be the queen who leads with confidence and the page who follows their emotional compass. You can leap like the fool and land like the knight. You can receive gifts from mentors and then become the mentor yourself. If you found something that resonated here, let me know in the comments. Especially if that number 17 landed for you, or if copper has been showing up in your world lately. These signs have a way of weaving through our lives in the most unexpected ways. Subscribe if you want more of these deep dives, and remember, your career isn't just what you do for money. It's how you choose to contribute your particular magic to this world. This year ahead is going to show you just how potent that magic really is when you stop hiding it. Take care of yourselves, little eyelashes. The dawn is coming and you're ready for it.